Hi guys, so I already can't talk. So for math today, we're going to learn about multiplication and division and how they're actually related. So I'm going to say the word related a lot. So I want to think about how you are related to your siblings, or how maybe your mom is related to their sibling, which would be your aunt or your uncle. So related means they are very similar, but they aren't the same, okay? So moving on. So our success criteria today. That means you have to be able to do these three things in order to be considered successful by the end of this math lesson. So not right now, but by the end of this math lesson. Student, that's you, understands that you can use addition to solve multiplication problems. Student used addition to solve multiplication problems correctly, and student zoomed their teacher to check their answers. Yes, that means at the end of our lesson today, I'm going to give you 3 problems, and you are not going to be considered successful unless you zoom myself or Mr. Davis. Okay, moving on. So, what's our learning target? Our learning target is I understand the relationship between multiplication and addition. Okay? So multiplication is the skill of multiplying. I know that seems really weird, but let's think about it like this. So if I multiply 5 4 times, okay? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I multiply this, I keep multiplying the same thing 4 times, I am going to get 20. I'll have 20 dots in total, okay? Another way of thinking about this is 20 is 5 times bigger than 4 because 4 groups of 5 make 20, okay? Another way to think of it is 90 is 9 times bigger than 10 because 9 groups of 10 make 90, okay? So moving on, again, we are trying to understand this crazy relationship between multiplication and addition, okay? So how are multiplication and division actually related? So let's look at it like this. Let's look at our 5 multiplied 4 times. Before I used groups, and we've been taught in 3rd grade to use groups when multiplying. But sometimes we forget to add a number in our group, or we miscount, and so we get the wrong answer. But if we use addition, the chances of that happening are a lot less. So I have 5 groups. So here's one. Oops, let me write. Hold on. I am clicking all the wrong slides. So here's one group of 5, right? It's just 5. And then I have another group of 5. So now I have 2 groups of 5. And now another. And now another. Okay? So 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 10 equals 20. I just used addition to find my answer. Okay? So I'm going to clear that real quick. And let's look at this one. You're going to try this one with me. It's the 3 times 6. So I always like to use the bigger number in my group. So eventually you will learn that it doesn't matter what order the factors are in. Those are the 2 numbers that I'm multiplying by, as long as they are the same factors. So as long as I have a 3 and a 6, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So I think I'm going to create 3 groups of 6, okay? So here's my one group of 6. Go ahead and write that down. Here's my second group of 6. Go ahead and write that down. Here's my third group of 6. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, so now I have 3 groups of 6. So now I need to add them, and this is how the multiplication and addition are related. I'm using addition to multiply. So 6 plus 6 equals 12, right? Go ahead and write that down. And then 12 plus 6, because I have this extra 6 left over. 6 plus 2 more, that's 8, plus the 1 would be dropped down. So 18. So I just used addition to figure out that 3 times 6 equals 18. So when it asks, what does this equal as this question mark, I'm going to write 18. Okay? So let's do the same thing. Go ahead and I want you to create 4 groups of 9. Okay? Pause the video if you need more time. So 4 groups of 9 are going to look like this. So if you wrote it the other way, I would quick change it up because it's actually going to be easier if I add the bigger numbers, okay? Because adding 4 9 times is going to take a lot of time, okay? So now I have this. And now I need to start adding these 4 groups together of 9 to find my answer or my product, okay? So 9 plus 9 equals 18, and 9 plus 9 over here also equals 18. Now I'm running out of room, so I'm going to hop up here. So 18 plus 18. Okay? Go ahead and see if you can figure that one out. If you need more time, pause. Hopefully you said 8 plus 8 equals 16. So I'm going to put my 6 down, carry my 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2, plus 1 more equals 3. So for my answer here, I should have gotten 36. And again, I used addition to figure out this multiplication problem. So I'm going to clear again. So I have my 8, oops. So I have my 18, I have my 36. And now I need to figure out this big one. Do you see I have 8 times 6? So I'm going to use the bigger number as the amount in the group. I'm going to create 6 groups because that's less groups. Okay? So go ahead and begin with your adding. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait. That's only 5. I need another one. Okay. Always make sure that you have the right number written. Okay, so now I want you to see if you can figure out what this equals on your own. So go ahead, pause the video, see if you can do it. Okay, hopefully you said, well, 8 plus 8 equals 16. 8 plus 8 equals 16. And 8 plus 8 equals 16. So now I have 3 16s I have to add together. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'm going to go 16 plus 16. Okay, so that's going to take care of these two. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry the 1, 32. Okay, so now I only have 32 plus this last 16 right here. Okay, 6 plus 2 is 8. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. So 8 times 6 must equal 48. And if I put it into a calculator, I would find that I am correct. Okay, moving on. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can find the answer to this problem right here using addition. Okay, hopefully you did that. And hopefully you decided to create 4 groups of 9 because that's going to be a lot quicker. If you decided to do it the other way, it's not wrong. It just takes a little bit longer. Okay? So 9 plus 9 equals 18. Okay? 9 plus 9 also equals 18. Okay, now I have 18 plus 18. Now, it's hard for me to add like this when the numbers are like that, okay? So when I have a bigger number, I always try to put it vertical. So 18 and 18. So hopefully you did that as well. 8 plus 8 is 16. I'm going to drop down the 6. I'm going to carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 1 more is 3. So I have 36. I'm going to circle my answer so my teacher can tell. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and erase some of my work so that way I have room for the rest of my work. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, and see if you can figure out what the next problem is. The 8 times 5. Okay, hopefully you decided to make 5 groups of 8. So you said 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Okay? And then you started adding. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16. 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 8 more. So I have an extra 8 at the end. Okay? Well, I have these big numbers, so 16 plus 16. I'm going to cross them off so that way I know I used them. 16 plus 16, well, 6 plus 6 is 12. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, so 32. I'm not done, though, because I still have to add that last 8. So 32 plus 8, and that's why I crossed the other one out so I could see. 8 plus 2 is 10, 40. Oh, well, I could always double check this answer too because I can count. Sorry, that's a 0. Because I can count by 5s. So if I count by 5s, am I going to get 40? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, I would. So I must be correct. Okay, I'm going to quickly erase so that way we have more space. Go ahead. I gave you a bigger one. It's kind of intimidating, okay? I have 17 times 2, so pause the video and see if you can figure out what 17 times 2 is using addition. Okay, so hopefully you decided to do 17 plus 17. And I talked about earlier how it's really hard for me to add like that. So I hope you did the same thing that I'm about to do and actually do it this way, because it's just a lot nicer to look at. 7 plus 7 is 14. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So 17 times 2 must equal 34. Okay. Now, here's your exit ticket. So you're going to use addition to solve these multiplication problems. And when you're doing that, you're working and changing your understanding of how multiplication and addition are related. Okay? So you're going to do these 3 problems, and then when you are done, you are going to Zoom your teacher with your answers. And remember, that was part of my success criteria. So if I don't Zoom my teacher, they're going to assume that I wasn't successful today. So make sure that you Zoom us, okay? And then we can offer extra help, or we can say, hey, yeah, you're good in the hood, good job, move on.